Afternoon, everyone, and thank you for persevering. I know this is the graveyard shift, and it's largely dominated by Atkins and Balfour Beatty people, I think, in this audience, so thank you to the others that have joined us. I'm Leslie Waud. I'm a director in Atkins, responsible for all of the work we do with Highways England, predominantly as our second largest client. And thanks to Glenn for his session, which has touched on a couple of points which I'll maybe expand on a bit more. So whether you're involved in transportation as a client, a customer, a supplier, or one of the ever-increasing Amazon delivery drivers out there on our network, we are or will be affected by the rapidly changing mobility trends and the skills that are needed to support that. So we know there's no guarantees what the future will look like and what this market will look like in the next 5 to 10 years. And that means that we can say with confidence that the skills requirement in our industry will change considerably. Highways England recently described the skills shortage as a ticking time bomb and referred to an additional 12,000 people. That's largely based on us still doing things the way we've done them for the last 20, 30 years. And we know that we shouldn't be doing that, and we know we have to do it differently. So is it really 12,000, or is it a much smaller number, but we use the resources we've got and do things very differently? So if we're not feeling uncomfortable, then I'd challenge whether we're actually seeing the bigger picture at the moment and the huge opportunities it presents. So disruptive wave of digital transformation. There's lots of talk about digital over the course of the last 2 days and on the stands. You know, as organisations, we've all explored the impacts of that for our businesses and the crucial role of people and the skills needed to succeed. I guess it would be no exaggeration to say there's a heck of a lot at stake for all of us in the future and our businesses as we've known them to date. But are we being realistic about that skills gap, and do we recognise and truly unlock the value of the different and diverse skills? So how will we evolve to get the most out of the technology on offer in terms of efficiencies and the outcomes that we need to deliver? We know the government's National Infrastructure Plan for Skills recognises this and suggests it's not just more skilled people we need, it's also a different blend of skills. So we can't simply bring new technology into our businesses. Those that have tried in the past, we all know if we don't plan it, if we don't land it right, it isn't going to work. And just bringing technology in isn't going to change things. We've got to adapt our businesses in very different ways so that we can take advantage from the technology, but most importantly from the new skills that we'll be bringing into our organisations to help us move forward. At Atkins, we've made some quite bold strides about cross-skilling and upskilling our workforce. We've trained people in coding. We're very much focusing on the softer skills that we need in the organisation, particularly around customers and stakeholders and the social impact that Glenn mentioned. And recently, we've actually recruited someone who's called a cyborg ethnographer. I have to put my teeth in to say that. And that's about helping us better understand the relationship between humans and technology. And it's about the human aspect of how we interact with technology so that we react to it in a positive way and embrace it rather than find it as a challenge to us as individuals. We're also looking at the breadth of skills where we can recruit those from, you know, looking to the Silicon Valley organisations, the motor manufacturers. We do really need to be fishing in a very different pond going forward. And I think as with all the consolidation that we've seen in the market of organisations and takeovers and mergers and acquisitions, I think there's still a heck of a lot that we need to learn from the comparatively nimble and trend-setting startups and SMEs, both in terms of needing to attract the same pool of talent that they do and learning from their fresh approaches to skills. And whilst we still need to increase the STEM skills in our industry, I believe we need to guard against only looking for more of the same that we've traditionally recruited, rather than completely different skills. I'm guessing the majority of our graduate and apprentice recruits for our organisations are still those that study the traditional subjects, and that includes the apprenticeships as well that we talked about in the previous session, rather than going to different degree courses, different apprenticeship thinking to bring in a very, very varied skill set. And also, when we bring those people into our organisation, what are we doing to allow them to flourish? You know, I've certainly been guilty in the past of seeing talent in someone that's very different, trying to bring them in, and then trying to force them back into a round peg that fits our nice, neat, round holes that are throughout the rest of the organisation. And we've learned a heck of a lot over the last few years about how to embrace those skills and let those people flourish. So, are we really doing enough as an industry? The new digital ways of working should be used as a catalyst for developing a strong and diverse and very capable resource pool that will allow us to deliver solutions that will embody the road network of the future. And diversity and sheer breadth of capability will only serve to enrich and energise the infrastructure and transport sectors going forward. It also increases collaboration, helps to break down the traditional silos, and also increases the opportunities for new ideas and new ways of working, with integration on all levels, because ultimately our success is reflected in the value that we add to our customers, and we can't achieve that if we're working in traditional silos. So one of the other points I'd just like to raise is, how are we deploying our experienced staff? You know, we've come off the back of one of the most severe recessions in our lifetime, and we're struggling to recruit those with the capabilities to deliver a huge roads programme at the moment. You know, and a lot of us have moved from a technical role into a business management role, so should we be looking at redeploying some of those people to the places where they can add the most value at the very early stages of scheme development and solutionising, working alongside some of these new diverse skills so that we really can deliver something special going forward. So finally, I think one thing that everyone agrees on is that the skills challenge has no quick fix. It really does require a collaborative approach across the industry to leverage the current and the projected surge in investment so that we can all unlock that prosperous economic future for UK PLC. So as an industry, I think we really do need to act now, otherwise we face being left behind. Thank you.